Hey everybody, welcome back to another Simulacra Developer Diary. My name as always is CJ. So this week's development has been primarily focused on encounters, and the hope there has been to improve the building block pieces that I've been working with as much as possible and really develop the connective tissue in between them so that you're not just defeating a bunch of individual pieces, that each of these encounters feels like an individual story that you yourself are telling. So I'm going to do a little bit of an overview of each of the pieces and then dive into the game real quick and show you what I mean with each of these. So I'm going to gloss over this one really quick and kind of return back to it. But most of these should be relatively familiar if you've played the game already. So this one up front is the spawning pylon. It's basically how the enemies get into the world. It's a really great tool for me to introduce any number of enemies, any types of enemies in a really flexible manner. So I can have a single pylon that is just spewing out tons of enemies. If I want a little bit more of a kind of a steady, prolonged encounter, I can have a couple of them that only are able to maintain one or two guys at once. If it's kind of a little bit more of a swarm mentality, but really good tool for being able to create just the low level needs of an encounter. Next up is the energy pylon. This fictionally is supposed to be kind of part of the enemy's communications network, and the real ability that it has right now is that when you hack it, it generates a certain amount of internal energy, and when you approach it once it's been hacked, it will siphon off that energy and replenish you. So it's a really great tool for kind of giving the player the ability to use a lot of their abilities. Sorry for the redundant explanation there, but also kind of incentivize them to move around the battlefield quite a bit and potentially use any number of them to kind of keep up that high ability fire rate. So next up is the enemy turret. Very straightforward turret right now. It tracks you, fires at you. It's a good kind of mid to long distance enemy, but stationary. So really good tool there. When you hack it, of course, converts over to your side and fires on the enemy. So a really good tool for the player. And a very recent addition, as is denoted by the ugly proxy art, is the kind of jail cell. So the enemies, as they're moving through these areas, are capturing the local villagers for transport away, that kind of thing. So this is a very simple, easy end goal for the encounters, so that when you have defeated the enemy, you can liberate the villager from their little prison here and get a reward for it. So it's a very easy kind of low level reward for the player, but also starts to give some of that storytelling material. So sometimes it might be cells that are there that the enemy is putting together a caravan and they're about to ship all of these guys off, or sometimes there won't be any villagers there and you'll be defeating the enemy, but then you find out that they were hiding in the undergrowth nearby, or you're defeating them to recapture caravans of supplies, that kind of thing. So this is just the start of these kind of storytelling material of these encounters and also rewards, but I wanted to start with something that was visible, really easily understood, and I hope that this kind of covers that. So the last but not least is the unassuming cone here, and that's actually been the focus of the work for this week. And this is the power node, which I've been working on. And the idea of the power node is it's a generator that supplies energy to each of these machines and gives them the ability to function. And so it gives me the ability to actually connect and create a visible energy connection in between any of these machines and the power node. And when the power node is disabled, it will actually shut down each of the connected machines. And so when you hack it, you're able to shut it down. If you destroy it, you permanently shut down whatever machine it was attached to. They can't come back. And for me, I thought that was a really kind of compelling way to create interesting choice in terms of how the player is approaching each of these encounters. They, if it's connected to the cell and the turret, they may want to run up there right away and hack that, but maybe they came in from another angle. Maybe they really wanted to have the turret on their side. If they hack the turret and then they disable the power node, then they lose the turret as a buddy. And so really trying to create interesting relationships and choices in each of the encounters. So it's not just going to be a standard, okay, I'm going to run in, shoot this thing, then shoot that thing. And each of them has their own kind of creative identity, or at least that's the hope. And another change that I haven't quite implemented yet, but right now healing is something that I've been thinking quite a bit about. Currently, the only way that you can get health upgrades, or sorry, not health upgrades, replenish your health, is by killing the droid enemies, and they will sometimes drop these health pickups. I'm thinking of changing it so that they will still drop those health regenerations, but it will regenerate a much smaller amount. So that will carry you through an encounter, and you can regenerate your health if you're skillful. But the only way of getting these larger health regenerations is by destroying the machines and drawing out the energy that they had. But that means that you lose the ability to use that machine. So it's a single kind of a single point transaction, and may mean that you want to be a little bit more careful with how you're firing. And other things like possibly making these kind of dissipate over time, so there's a little bit of a kind of a risk reward. Maybe you want to fight your way through in order to get the energy while it's still hot. So let's jump in here. I apologize again. I still haven't quite tuned the audio, so if it's a little bit loud, I apologize. So I'm going to run around in kind of phantom form real quick. So you see that there's a clear visible energy connection in between these machines and the power node. So if I run over and disable or hack the power node, you'll see that everything turns off. So the enemies still come after me, so I'm not safe from them. But sorry about that. The spawning pylons no longer creating more enemies. I haven't hacked either of these, so I don't have any benefit there, but they are totally disabled, and the shield has come down, so I can save the villager and get a little gift. Obviously, oh, I accidentally destroyed the power node, so I'll have to restart in a second. But obviously, I won't be connecting any one power node to all of the machines. This is purely for testing and example purposes. But so let's jump out and restart there. But so similarly, if I go over and hack the turret, it'll start firing on the enemies. But then when I hack the power node, similarly, I lose that benefit. So gives a little bit of an idea of wanting to be kind of careful and judicious, you can then hack it again. It will return on. But if you destroy it, everything's powered down forever. There's no giving them any energy back, at least for the moment. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been looking at right now. My hope in the next couple weeks is to continue improving and implementing these. I've done a little bit of art changes. Most of that has been based on really wanting to get a clear, visible language with each of these. So I'll be improving the placeholder art for these little prison pads and for the power nodes, so that you're able to read those very clearly when you're fighting in the encounters. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I did this week. As I've mentioned before, the previous milestones build is up on IndieDB if you want to check it out. Definitely let me know what you think about the video, about any of these ideas in the comments below. I really appreciate all the feedback, and any of your thoughts. I really want to include everyone on this as much as possible. So thank you again for taking the time. Hope you all have fantastic weekends, and I will talk to you later. Bye.